how are y'all doing today? Welcome back to the channel. It is so good to have you here. Now, I know it's been a minute since I posted on here, but today's video is the start of a new era of Electric Keely YouTube, as I'm participating in Season 3 of the SPL Premier League, a super exciting Pokemon Draft League. For those unfamiliar with Draft, it's a format of competitive Pokemon where several coaches pick Pokemon one by one to build unique teams with no overlapping Pokemon, and then week after week, we battle each other with only the Pokemon that we've drafted. SPL Premier League, or SPL for short, has historically been a singles battle league, but this season they're branching out into double battles, or VGC, which is kind of Pokemon that I play, so I'm super happy to be here. Big shout out to the hosts of the league, Joey Pokeaim and Shuckle King, for inviting me. I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and I'm really excited to play. For this season of SPL, I'm the coach of the Vancouver Vaporeons, and I've drafted 10 Pokemon to my team that I'm really excited to use. The draft was in a snake format, meaning that would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 through 20, all the way back and forth. And I was number 15, meaning there was a lot of coaches ahead of me, and with 20 coaches, a lot between every pick, to be honest, making it a real fight to get some of the best Pokemon in the game, but I think I did a good job with what I was able to select. In this video, I'm just gonna give a quick overview of my team, talk about what I drafted and why, and then for the next 8 weeks, you'll be able to find Draft League gameplay on this channel. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. But yeah, without further ado, should we get into the draft analysis and talk about the team? First up on the roster of the Vancouver Vaporeons, we have Tornadus Incarnate. I knew that I wanted to start with something versatile that could offer support to a lot of different potential team archetypes, and in my opinion, Tornadus Incarnate is the perfect example of that. Having the ability Prankster allows it to always move first when clicking status moves, which is super handy given the status moves that it has access to. Tailwind, Taunt, Scary Face, and all 4 weather setting moves are just a few of its useful tools. Tornadus also has a significant special attack stat of 125, meaning that on top of being a killer support Pokemon, it can also be an offensive threat with its flying stab on moves like Bleak Wind Storm and Air Slash. On pick number 2, next I wanted to draft a Pokemon that could hit hard, but that also had good synergy with Tornadus. For this, I went with Landorus Incarnate. I think that the 2 genies side by side can be super threatening, especially if Rain Dance is up and I can just be spamming Bleak Wind Storm, Sancier Storm into my opponents. With the ability Sheer Force and its preferred held item of a Life Orb, Landorus deals scary amounts of special attack damage while being a naturally speedy mon as well. Sludge Bomb is also another popular move on Landorus, which is nice coverage, especially in the case that I might not be drafting any other poison-type Pokemon. On top of its usual moves of Earth Power, Sancier Storm, and Sludge Bomb, Lando also has access to some utility like Taunt, Scary Face, and Substitute, which may be fun to use, especially since this is a closed team sheet format and my opponents might not be expecting it. For my third Pokemon, I had to keep following the pattern I'd set out for myself, so I drafted Thundurus Incarnate. That's a lie. I didn't do that. I thought about it. I think it would have been funny. I didn't do that. My actual third draft pick was the pseudo-legendary from Gen 9, Baxcalibur. With a base stat total of 600, including a ridiculous attack of 145, this Pokemon can deal serious damage. Thanks to its ability Thermal Exchange, Baxcalibur also cannot get burned, leaving it safe to just ignore one of the usual biggest threats towards physical attackers. Its ice typing also allows me to have super effective damage into ground, flying, and dragon type Pokemon, all of which I was missing before. Bax has a couple of different ways it likes to be built, which is fun, keeping the versatility and options open. It can either be its typical Assault Vest set, or a more aggressive option with Loaded Dice Scale Shot, which I think is really fun. It's also got Ice Shard for priority and Icicle Crash, which can sometimes flinch, which are both really fun tools on a hyper-offensive team like mine. On to draft number 4, I was continuing the trend of expanding my type coverage, so my next pick was Hisuian Arcanine. Its fire and rock type both feel nice to have here, but what I found even more important than that is its ability Intimidate. I was almost certain I wanted to Intimidate somewhere across my team, so it felt good to lock it in here. Hisuian Arcanine is a great hyper-offense Pokemon with lots of options. It can be a Choice Band, Terra Normal, Extreme Speed Clicker, it can click Rock Slide and hope for flinches, it can deal big damage with Flare Blitz and Head Smash, or it can be a little more supportive using Will-O-Wisp to burn my opponent's physical attackers. All in all, it felt like a really solid addition to the team. After my first 4 picks, the team was looking strong, but I'll be honest, it was lacking a little bit of Girliepop energy. We needed that. To remedy this, my next draft pick was Miss Serena. Her grass typing does fill another gap in my coverage, but she's another Pokemon that I definitely picked more for her ability than her types or moves. One of my absolute favorite Pokemon to use in VGC currently is Farigiraf. I love Farigiraf, I love Armor Tail, but that was sniped early on, and Serena's Queenly Majesty does the exact same thing, so she was an easy pick here. With the support ability, she can lean into more support with things like Reflect, Light Screen, Taunt, and Helping Hand, but she's also a very offensive Pokemon as well, with an attack stat of 120. Serena usually likes to hold the item Wide Lens, allowing her to hit more accurate power whips and triple axles, both of which can be incredibly scary to an opposing team. For my next pick, I wanted to continue extending my offensive coverage as much as possible, and Fairy seemed like a valuable type to pick up. Luckily, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon was still up for grabs, Sylveon. I love Sylveon. I have a Sylveon on my water bottle that I carry every day. So I was very happy to draft Sylveon. With Sylveon's signature ability Pixelate, she turns all normal type moves into fairy type moves, which becomes very valuable when you look at the normal type moves she has access to. Stab, fairy type, hyper voice, and hyper beam can do a lot of damage, especially when stacked with a boosting item like throat spray or a pixie plate. She also has quick attack, which might be useful at some point. I really like priority moves. I was a touch worried about Sylveon's speed stat at first, given that she is a lot slower than a lot of my team, but in a lot of matches, it's likely that I'll be the only one with access to Tailwind, so her slower speed will actually not really be too much of an issue. At this point, I've been drafting just a lot of generally strong Pokemon and not considering synergy too much, but earlier on in the draft, I'd actually thought I was going to end up building a Rain team. With a Torn Lando core, Rain still feels like a good play for my team, so I knew I wanted to draft at least one water type that could also take advantage of that Rain. This pick ended up being Quaquaval. Water and Fighting were both new types for the team, and Quaquaval is another Mon with an attack stat of 120, just to add to my collection of aggressive offense Pokemon, because why not? With its signature move Aqua Step that increases its speed with each use, and the ability Moxie increasing its attack with every knockout, Quaquaval is a Pokemon that, if positioned correctly, can snowball and sweep very effectively. Other potential useful moves in its kit include Aqua Jet, Close Combat, Flip Turn, Low Kick, and U-Turn. With pivot moves, it can easily be a choice item sweeper. Because it's somewhat frail, it might also want to hold on to a Focus Sash, but again, we've got options. I love keeping my options open here. With Quaquaval to lean into the Rain mode on my team, I thought I should maybe pick up another Pokemon that could benefit from a Sun mode as well, to once again keep my options open from week to week. And maybe also make it more difficult for my opponents to know which direction I might go with building each week. I'm not totally sure if this balanced approach is better or worse than just leaning aggressively into one archetype, but I guess we will find out. The next member of my team and the last super offensive piece was Typhlosion. Typhlosion is a fast special attacker, which is nice, as now between my 8 drafted Mons, I've got 4 physical and 4 special attackers, which is something I generally like to stay balanced on. With access to a handful of scary fire type moves like Eruption, Heat Wave, Lava Plume, and Overheat, as well as coverage options like Shadow Ball, Scorching Sands, and Focus Blast, I feel like Typhlosion can do a lot of damage, especially in the sun. On to pick number 9, points are running low and I still didn't have the move Fake Out anywhere on my team, which is something I wanted to fix. One of my absolute favorite Pokemon ever is Sneasler for this, but Sneasler was obviously no longer available and not in my price range anyways. But what was available was Sneasler's pre-evolution Hisuian Sneasel. With a speed stat of 115, Sneasel is always going to be the fastest fake out user on the field, and with inner focus, it can't get faked out or intimidated itself. Another fun move it gets is Feint, which can limit my opponent's ability to effectively click Protect and Wide Guard. Sneasel's also yet another Taunt and Sunny Day user, which is really nice, and if it wants to be offensive, it's got access to Throat Chop, Close Combat, Gunk Shot, and more. Being a pre-evolution, Sneasel also has the option of holding onto an Eviolite in order to buff up its somewhat lacking defenses just a little bit. Coming up to my last pick, I had exactly 2 points left on the draft board, meaning I didn't have much to work with, but there was one role I was still looking to fill. Redirection. Lucky for me, Cutie Skiploom was still available in the 2-point category. With access to Rage Powder, it fills the role I was looking for, while also having several other utility options like Sleep Powder, Light Screen, Reflect, Tailwind, Helping Hand, and Encore. On top of its versatile moveset, Skiploom also gets the ability Chlorophyll, which doubles its speed stat in the sun. This could have valuable synergy with my Tornadus and other fire-type team members if I feel that a Sunny Day mode is the best way to go for a certain battle. I also just think Skiploom is really cute, and I'm really happy to have it on the team. And that just about wraps up my draft analysis. I, for one, am super happy with how my team turned out and cannot wait to start building for each week and playing out my matches. Feel free to let me know any of your thoughts on my team in the comments below, what you might have drafted if you were me. Let me know if you have any questions about why I got what I got. And if you're as excited about the draft league as me and want to catch the games, I will be posting here once a week, every week on Sunday for the next 8 weeks. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you don't want to miss anything. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. This is my first time doing a full content draft league like this. I've played casual draft leagues before, but this feels serious. This feels official. I'm really excited. I'm really happy to be here. I cannot wait. Make sure to catch match 1 next week to see how it goes. And thank you for watching this one. Hopefully I will see you next week. Goodbye.